What's up, Virgo? Welcome to your October 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kaylee Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who's working on their personal growth or their spirituality. So if those areas of life are important or intriguing for you at the moment, I encourage you to go ahead and keep watching. Now, I want to just kind of jump right into your reading. So one thing that I was definitely picking up for you, Virgo, is I feel like October is a time when you're going to need a little bit more rest. The feeling that I was actually getting was of someone kind of going over and over of anxious thoughts in their mind. And so I don't know if some of you have been experiencing any insomnia, or if there's it may not be a huge thing, but it could be just something that's bothering you that you've been thinking about a lot, and it's just, causing you to maybe lose a little sleep, or just giving you a feeling of, I guess I would say, just a little bit of anxiousness, because it feels like there's maybe something that's out of your control. And one thing that we do know about Virgos, of which I can definitely relate to, is like you definitely like to feel as though you have things together in your life. That's something that's very much associated with the Virgoan archetype, because it's the harvest season is really, in the northern hemisphere, the Virgo season is harvest season. It's about making sure you have all your ducks in a row, making sure that you did all the right planting at the right time, and that you showed up and took care of your crops or whatever. And so that's something that Virgos tend to feel drawn to, is just that sense of knowing that they have done everything that they can in order to feel that they have everything together. And then that therefore gives them the confidence to feel like they can just handle anything because they have things together. But I almost feel like some of you might be feeling a little scatterbrained at the moment for some reason, or you could be, and you will feel better at the end of the month when the sun moves into Scorpio. It's a more harmonious energy for you typically, but there is a sense that you're just feeling a little bit stressed, or a little bit like pulled in a lot of different directions. So October would be an amazing month for you to set aside some time, on a regular basis, just for relaxation. Maybe you need to take a 30-minute nap once a day, if you can fit that in, or a 15-minute nap, or even a 10-minute nap, or a 10-minute meditation. Who doesn't have 10 minutes? But something to just regularly do in your life that gives you permission to relax. And preferably you want to interrupt your pattern, Virgo. So if you tend to be more stressed in the afternoons, because maybe that's just a busier time of day, you want to think about what practices you can implement that will break up that pattern of stress, that you could do either at that time or immediately afterwards, to help yourself unwind in a healthy, sustainable way. And it could be yoga, or it could be, like I said, meditation, or it could be just really setting the intention to enjoy a really nice walk, depending on the weather. It's just something that kind of engages your senses and puts you in the present moment. And also, it may be something where if there's something that's bothering you that you don't have control over right now, Virgo, the message is just to do whatever you can do to ensure the best outcome for yourself, and then leave the rest up to the divine. It will be okay. It will be okay is really the feeling. It's more of an energy that's being communicated to me for you guys, that you don't need to gnaw on things, mentally. You don't need to ruminate. You don't need to be, like an animal, like chewing constantly because you're like nervous. I think this is more just about relaxing, coming back to the present, finding things that you can do that will be soothing for you, and just allowing that and embracing that and owning it and recognizing that you deserve that energy. Okay, let's take a look at your cards. I'm using the Halloween Tarot. It's a very sweet and lighthearted deck. It's kind of silly, but I thought it would be perfect for this month. Okay, let's take a look at your cards. We've got the bat and the nightingale. Interesting. So both of these creatures are night creatures, which definitely I feel kind of echoes back to the message that came through in the meditation, right? About taking a little bit of time to rest. It's more of a yin month. It's definitely more of a yin month for you. So with the bat card, to me, there's so much symbolism in this card. One of the things is that we have this full moon here, and we actually have 2 full moons in October. The first one is on October 1st, and the second one is on the 31st, on Halloween. So this is a very October-y energy. If you're somebody like me who loves October, then, you know, this card, you can just feast your eyes on this card. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I'll put a link for this deck below, as well as the Halloween Tarot. But you know, I feel like in general, this is about embracing the energy of the month, however that energy looks for you. You are going to be more sensitive, particularly to noise, because bats are, you know, they're blind, but they have an incredibly strong sense of hearing. They have like ultrasonic hearing. So there is something here about just tending to your environment and reducing maybe ambient noise that might be bothering you. Like if you have an appliance that hums really loudly, maybe it's time to get that fixed. Or if you have, you know, something else that's disturbing you, maybe using something like a noise generator, like an ambient noise generator that makes the sound of waves, something like that. I think you need some things that are going to be more soothing and intentional in your environment, particularly having to do with sound, or maybe it's just playing music softly in the background more often. But there's something here that's healing about sound, and it's healing about creating nice, warm, you know, comfortable conditions for yourself in your home. And you really deserve that, Virgo. You really deserve to feel comfortable in your home environment. So find ways to nurture that environment so that that environment can in turn nurture you. The nightingale as your path is also about speaking up. So you could be telling the truth in some way this month, or you could be sharing your voice, sharing your opinions. Something about that is also coming through as a theme for you. So let's take a look at your tarot cards. We've got 5 of Ghosts, which is 5 of Cups, Ace of Imps, which is the Ace of Wands, 7 of Ghosts, which is the 7 of Cups. This is such a great card. We've got Justice, and he's weighing a couple of heads in a rat. Pretty interesting. We've got 8 of Imps, which is the 8 of Wands, Queen of Bats, Queen of Swords, the Sun, and the 2 of Wands, which this deck calls the 2 of Imps. Okay. Okay, so what's coming through for me in the first week of October that's relevant for you guys is that it feels like something kind of goes awry in the first week of October. It's not a big deal, because I think that what you end up realizing after the fact is that it's actually an opportunity. So it's kind of funny. It's almost like you're aiming for one thing and you don't hit that target. Let's say you're aiming to achieve some kind of goal or get something out of the first week of October, and that kind of changes directions pretty quickly, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not happening. Like, I thought that's what we were doing, or that's what I thought that our plan was. But then, like, what turns out of it, it turns out that it's actually an opportunity for you. And you see the potential that you didn't see before when you were facing a different direction. So the way I get that is because, like, the pumpkin guy, he looks kind of like surprised, and then there's the cup pouring water out, and then the Ace of Imps is like this hand offering this, Ace of Wands energy, which is creative potential. So I think you kind of have this little like whoopsie moment, and then you're like, actually, that looks really good. Like, if you're a painter, let's say you just like accidentally tip some paint over, and then you're like, oh no, like at first you're just thinking that ruined it, and then you actually take a step back and you're like, that inspires a different vision. So that's the metaphor I'll leave you with for that first week, and keep in mind that theme could be present throughout the month. The second week of October, you've got Justice and the Seven of Ghosts. So the Seven of Cups, which is the Ghosts card, to me is a very mental card. It's as much of an air card as it is a water card in my mind. And with the Justice, this is a very airy Libran energy, right? Which the sun will still be in Libra at that point in the second week of October. So there is a sense with these energies that you are kind of getting clarity about something that you previously didn't really have a contextual framework for. Like, this is a complicated idea, but what I'm kind of seeing is almost that you have this idea for maybe a project or a business or a new way of doing things in your life. And you've had this kind of hovering around for a while, but you haven't had it lock into place yet. And the reason that it hadn't locked into place is because you didn't see how it connected to either like the industry at large, or you didn't see how it connected and fell into maybe a philosophy. It's almost like you have this idea now that doesn't have legs. It's like a tabletop, but just the table part. And then in the second week of October, all of a sudden with Justice, it gets legs to stand on. You're like, oh, I see where this piece fits in the puzzle. I see why I've been having this idea for so long. I understand it now. So there's a framework around your creative ideas, whether it's for your business or something else, that is sort of dropping into place, is really like the feeling I get in the second week. So make some space for planning and strategizing. It's more of a planning and strategizing than it is a doing, I have to say. It's more like realizations, which you then are going to percolate and then eventually act on. The third week of October, you have Eight of Wands and the Queen of Swords, in the regular tarot. And with these cards, I really do feel like there's something that needs to be said, something that needs to be expressed in that third week of October. And the reason I say that is because the Eight of Wands is a card of a lot of momentum and power. And the Queen of Swords, or the Queen of Bats, is all about like speaking her truth. Even if it kind of upsets other people, she's all about integrity. So I do feel like there's, the time is right in the third week of October, maybe right, nearing the time when the sun is going to move into Scorpio, where you're going to feel ready to come out with something, ready to say something, ready to express yourself in some way. And it will be different, it'll be something that you haven't done before. So let's say, for example, if you're an online business owner, you could be doing your first live interview with someone, or you could be writing a very personal expose about, your thoughts on something in life. I think there's just this element of the time is right. Take advantage of this. You're going to feel vindicated in some way for speaking your truth. And that was also echoed back with the Nightingale. That's really why this energy showed up in these cards, and here's where it's showing up in your tarot in the third week. Okay, Your last week of October, you have the Sun and the Two of Wands. So this is where I see more of that creative energy sort of stirring and brewing within you. As the Sun has moved into Scorpio at the end, well, throughout the end part of the month, you're going to be feeling a lot more active and creative. Whereas the first 3 weeks, it's like, yes, you're working through things and you are having realizations and new paths are being illuminated for you. By the last week of the month, that's really where you're going to see that creative energy kick in. And I see you actually maybe coming out with something, launching something, or just starting a new, very personal or significant creative project. And so this is going to be a decision point for you. You're going to be assessing your skills and assessing your goals for the project itself, making a lot of decisions and choices. And then I just see you kind of rolling with it. And I feel like it's going to be very exciting with the Sun there. I think it's something that is really opening you up to kind of like, I want to say, a golden opportunity. That's kind of what I want to say to you, Virgo. And remember, because these cards are coming in underneath the Seven of Ghosts and the Justice card, which were about an idea that you had that was sort of floating, and now it's like locking in, right? And these cards are directly beneath those in the reading, right? These were like the card that represents like the energy floating around. It's like an idea, but hasn't legs yet. And then it locks into place at the end of the month, right underneath it. So I think that's also very synchronistic. All right. Your Bob Ross message is, anytime you learn, you gain. All right, Virgo, anytime you learn, you gain. I hope this reading has given you something useful to think about as you move forward. I know that this month is going to be pretty wild when it comes to the astrology, but for you guys, I actually feel the energy being quite peaceful and insulated from any difficult energies that we have going on astrologically this month, which there are quite a number of big ticket items, let's say, in the astrological phenomenology that are going to be going on this month that will be, hard aspects for a lot of people. But for you, I feel like it's more you're insulating yourself by creating a nice, cozy, comfortable environment at home and working on yourself, basically, and the conditions and the environments that you have influence over, as opposed to trying to control what is going on outside of that, right? That's always the best place to put our focus. So sending you so much love and light, Virgo. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Leave me a comment below if you want to say thank you, maybe a Halloween message or something like that, or give me a pumpkin emoji. If you want to support my channel, you can also donate. Even just $1 is fantastic, or you can give this video a thumbs up. All those things are super helpful and supportive to the energy I put into my readings. Hugs and blessings to you. I will talk to you next time, Virgo.